Hi.
Hey everyone, I'm super excited to have you. It's August 2nd, and welcome to the Fit Ambition Team call. This is a big call because we just came off of Summit 2016, and it was our last one in Nashville, Tennessee. A little bit sad about that because I love Nashville. But we have some great speakers tonight. But first, I do have a couple of announcements that I want to cover. Number one is to remember to check your back office every day, because there's always little announcements that come about. And of course, coming off Summit, there's a lot of.
I missed it. Are they breaking up already?
Oh, am I breaking up? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. There's a lot of information coming off Summit that you might get overwhelmed, but always be checking your back office. Second is register for 2017 Summit. If you have not registered, get on it because it's going to sell out fast. If I haven't checked it yet, so I don't even know. It might be sold out already, but but go to Coach Summit 2017. We will be in New Orleans next year, which is exciting. Hotels are tough to come by sometimes, so keep hanging in there. Try to get your hotel rooms reserved. And also, I try to tell people don't fret though, because a lot of times when we come up on the deadline in April, a lot of people do cancel their rooms, and you can get rooms later in the year. So just hang in there with that. Okay, so a couple new things coming about this month. Well, of course, we have Country Heat that has come out, and I see coaches full force doing the programs. So keep that up. Share with people how amazing it is. We have some really cool things coming this month. We've got the 3-week yoga retreat. This is something that apparently across the board people have been really wanting. So they've created it. We've got 4 new instructors that will be doing this yoga program, and it's on Beachbody On Demand only. So Beachbody On Demand only. It's going to be coming to us later this month. It'll be 21 yoga classes, 30 minutes a day, and on Sundays you'll only be doing 10 minutes. And the sneak peek, you got to write this down, the sneak peek is on August 18th. So check that one out. The one I'm super excited about is Core to Force. That is going to be our next really big program that's coming out. It's martial arts based. It's with Jericho and what's the other guy's? What's the guy's name?
Joel.
Oh, totally lost it there. Joel and Jericho, and it's just going to be awesome. I mean, check out the video in the back office. They tested it a little bit on not Super Saturday when they did the super workout, and people were like raving about it. And again, it's 30-minute workouts. It launches November of this year, and it's 10 full workouts, and the sneak peek is coming out in October. 2 more things. Beachbody On Demand. They're really pushing Beachbody On Demand. We have got the new show, The 20s, coming out, where we are going to find out our new trainer, who the new Beachbody trainer is going to be, and that begins on August 8th. So it's going to be a little bit like reality TV, some crazy stuff going on, I'm sure, but it's going to be super fun to watch. And then last, we have the new Fixate show. It's Autumn Calabrese and her brother, and they've collaborated with tons of new recipes where they're going to do little videos, probably I think it was like 5 to 10 minutes long, to help us create new 21-day Fix approved recipes. And it's going to be available for our challengers, and it's just going to be amazing, and it's going to start in late August. So that is the scoop, guys, on the new stuff coming out. And I believe that Beth Delbar is going to be our first speaker tonight. And again, it was so awesome to see everybody. We had like over 30 or 40 coaches, all of us together from our team, and it rocked. So it was great seeing everyone. And go for it, Beth. Tell us what you got going on, girl.
Okay, thank you. So my favorite person to follow and my favorite speaker was Allie Upham. I just, her energy, she's who I wish I could be if I wasn't shy and had a shell on all the time. So I always watch her, and I'm just always impressed by her. So Allie Upham and Chelsea Pearson talked about challenge groups and how important they are to our business. So I'm just going to kind of share what they did. I have some slides that they're not the best because I took pictures of their slides and then tried to crop them a little bit. So I will share those with you guys as well. But there's, some bullet points was how to keep motivation high, how to deal with customer fallout, how to prevent it, how they mentor and identify potential coaches, and what life is like beyond the initial challenge pack. So they really stressed how results are everything. They had shared, their first challengers' biggest transformations, and Chelsea's herself, and how, even if, it's so important for us to get results to share with our challengers and or for our customers, and for us to always have asking for our requiring the before photos, requiring stats and things like that, because that's, as you guys know, that's the bread and butter of this, is showing improving results of real people that people know. So a quote that they had was, "The day you truly become a coach is the day that you help your first customer achieve a milestone. That is your real start date." So until that it's not when you sell a challenge pack, it's not when you, sign a coach. You become a coach when you help someone go from point A to B, and you have helped them reach their goal. And that was so profound, I guess, because it's so true. This is not a 21-day business, and we send people on our way. We have to realize that we have to follow them through it the whole way. And even if they, we need to show up every day. There's going to be days where they don't. And how we just get busy, and a challenge group will just, this is me, I had a challenge group ending through Summit, and it just kind of fizzled out and died. So that's that, on my fault, that's terrible. So we need to be showing up every day and reaching out to these people long after that challenge group has ended. For me personally, I always invite them to keep coming and continue on that journey. And I'll get a little bit into this too, on how we can continue them on their journey with different steps. So they said to, take yourself back to day one, and what results did you really want, and what results were you looking for? It's so important to ask yourself this, because if I asked every one of you guys what your results, if we started a challenge group today, what you're hoping to get and achieve, they would all be different. So it's so important to really ask your customers what they want to get out of it. That can really help us set expectations. So maybe, if you're talking about it, and you'll know what they are going to expect, and you can either provide it or tell them how it really is, so they don't have a different perception of what a challenge group actually is. So it can be a great way to have them set up just right. All right, so I'm going to share my screen with you guys. Oh, perfect. Okay, so this one right here, you set the pace. So it's about paving the road ahead, set expectations, and this means like having that new coach email, or new customer email, or a video that you send them. And it does not have to be perfect, but it's just something that asking those challengers again, what does success look like to you? What will you be, what are you aiming for? And you try your best to, give that to them in your challenge group, because it's all about them. Number 2, give them mile markers. That means weekly check-ins, asking about their highs and their lows, asking them to send in measurements at, maybe it's weekly, maybe it's monthly, depending on how long your challenge group is. Allie talked a lot about taking goodbye photos. So it's that goodbye photo of your old figure, your old measurements, and to be so adamant about getting these. If you don't get them, they're out of the group. And this would be something that you set expectations before they maybe join, things like that, because but that's one thing she was very strong about, is how she makes. And then if you kick them out, if they don't send the stats, she kicks them out. That was kind of, that would be hard for me to do, but this was from Allie. Set your cruise control. Be predictable. So just as we expect our challengers to check in every day, we need to be doing the same thing. So whether you need to schedule that, or whether you need to set a timer on your phone to get in there and post every day, it's so important that we stay as predictable, because they're only going to be as good as we are. And so to make your challengers also set planned and focused time. And so you do the same. So you're going to ask your challengers that, hey, you're going to need to carve out, 10 minutes a day to check in and to do this and make that a requirement and make it a requirement for yourself. Get out of the passenger seat and lead from the front. So that means a lot of that is just being a product of the product. And their team had made a hashtag called We Do Fitness First. And that because sometimes when you're working your business and you hear from a lot of coaches going for elite top 10, their fitness falls to the wayside, and that is always detrimental because our passion is our fitness. And although it seems like maybe invites would be more important, if we don't do those workouts and stay taking care of ourselves, we empty out and we aren't able to feel that energy and excitement, and that flows into our challenge group. So really just stay a product of the product and lead from the front and lead by doing. 4, you can't run on fumes. Protect your time and energy. So she really learned the hard way, but 2 a day check-in tops. So she really coaches her coaches that I think she said she spends like 30 minutes tops in a day, 15 in the morning and 15 at night in her groups. And one thing I'm sorry, I have a cold. I got run down at Summit, but coming back. So she really stressed that when she first was coaching, that people were messaging her all times a day. And she was, checking it during lunch, checking it during supper, getting texts during the day and stuff like that. And so she made sure that every time someone would text her, like, hey, Allie, I was wondering if, you can do have ginger ale on the 21-day fix. That's an awesome question. Please ask that, copy paste this, post it in the group, and I'll answer it there. And every time they do that, she'd say, oh, that's awesome. Copy paste this, put it in the group, and it kind of just drilled them into them, and they quit texting her. So if you always have always have everybody, I have a bug, always have everybody put it, say, that's great, have a script, put it in the group. And they'll quit. You got to just put that fortress around your time and protect that. So, and then also, as if you let that question go, so maybe someone posted at 11 a.m. a question and you're not going to be in until 8 o'clock that night, another coach might see that and answer it. And that, as will just provide that, it'll step them into leadership. And then when they answer that question, you praise them and recognize them for stepping up, helping you, and being that leader in the group. And that kind of is into the process of transitioning them to consider being a coach. So that's where we go from there. I'm going to check out my next. Okay, so going to my next slide here. Oh, and then the other one was build communication guardrails. And that is like close down, same thing, close down communication channel, all those channels, and keep it in the group. Make scripts. Okay, so we're looking at this. You guys can see this, shake your head yes if it's committed customer versus, just no, it's this on the same thing. Okay, 1 second. Sorry. I'm trying to, one moment. I've got so many, okay. All right, so I am again. Okay, so challenge groups, and they really said this, it's not you, it's them. It's not always, you can't always beat yourself up about bad challenge groups. Bad challenge groups happen. It's just what it is. They asked everyone to raise their hand if you've had a bad challenge group. The room was full of raised hands. So just know that sometimes there's just groups that are, subpar from others. But what we do have to remember, and even myself, is that we have to, let's say there's one person and 5 are, just logs. Be there for that one person. Be there no matter what for that one person because they decided to show up and we need to be there 100% for them. But do self-evaluate. Do, look at yourself critically and look at what you could do better, but don't criticize yourself. But look at yourself, the work you do critically, and maybe see where you can make improvements. reach out and reconnect with people. So sometimes, let's say you have a group right now and you don't know why they're in the group, you don't really know their goals. Take time now to go in there and to ask them and reconnect with their goals and find out what they are. And then recommend personal development. Personal development is not just for our coaches. It's not coach development, it's personal. So really do help them rewrite their plan. So if they are struggling with getting, finding time in the morning to work out, help them rewrite that plan. Rewrite that plan and maybe help them find time in the evening, knowing that just because it's not the morning doesn't mean it's the only time. Or if they're having trouble getting that Shakeology, help them rewrite their plan and how they can fit it in a different time of the day. So just be there, yes, in that personal development for the coaches. So some good ones for that, I would think You Are a Badass. Slight Edge is a good one, just because that learns to make those small decisions, choices. Obviously, they're not going to be needing to read any like John C. Maxwell, maybe, not any business stuff, but just that empowerment books like that. And so if they go MIA, Allie was all about, she would tag them. She'd notice they're gone, so she'd tag them. And then if there's no response, she'd, maybe Voxer them, leave a voice message, call them, and leave a number on their, voicemail. 3 days go by, they're gone. They're out. So, and that's obviously established before the group, so they would know. But it's always so important to have the, always leave that open door. And so you don't just kick them out and say nothing. You kick them out and say, I am here for you when you are ready, and just give that loving and nurturing message to them, but always leaving that door open so that they feel welcome to come back when they're ready, and you'll be there when they are ready. Excuse me. So the next part was really powerful for me. And she asked everyone in the crowd just to think about and write down, what would my life be like without Beachbody coaching? So if you take a minute and you just ask yourself, okay, what would my life be like without coaching? We all sat there, and then we had, some time, and then we had to say it out loud to the person next to us. So I thought that was really, really, really powerful question that really helps you realize how, what a game changer this is on so many different levels. So ask yourself that, and as you're writing it, I think it's such a powerful post for social media too, because it's really, shows the true reasons. It's not about, your health may be one of them, but it's also, is the relationships, the community, the, so many different things, the rewarding that you get from helping people, all those different things. So ask yourself, what would my life be like without Beachbody coaching? All right, so I'm going to share with this screen with you. Okay, so this one is, the empowering future coaches. So the committed customer business builder loves or believes in their product line, motivated by the community, committed to their own finish line, Shakeology 365 are in the making, energized by socializing and interaction. So those are the things that we can see when we're looking at that will be both a great customer and become to that business builder. So I thought this was just kind of, something to look for. I give you guys a chance if you wanted to screenshot this or anything like that. You can, or I can post them in a group too. So empowering future coaches, define their finish line and give them goals after the challenge group is done. And I'm going to give you guys some examples of that they shared. And one thing, I'm going to just do a different one. Okay, so you see that define their finish line one, right? Yep, okay. Create a challenger watch list. So this is recognize when challengers show leadership, and we tell them. So if you see them doing something great on their timeline, or because if you're going to make a list, we don't want to be scrolling the newsfeed all day, but if you see have a challenger that you feel is a potential, rock star, put them on, make them someone you check in on daily, see what they're doing, recognize what they're doing, and then recognize them by reaching out and telling them that, praise them. Okay. All right, almost done here. All right, so this next one was about inviting, and we have passive inviting and personally inviting. So I want to show you this screen here, and this is about how we can passively invite, and I'm going to look at it on my phone here. Passively invite, and how we can I lost. And personally invite. So here you see in that image is that how you can continue, A, you'd answer A, B, C, or D, continue your fitness journey. B, invite your friends or family. C, become preferred customer. D, join the Fit Girls next door. So you can, that's, more of a passive way to invite them. And to, she gave us 3 different ways that we can personally invite, and I will have those up here. I'm going to share those with you. So there was this one. So hey, I won't let you read them, or you can screenshot them if you want to, but these were from Chelsea. There's a convenience, a compliment, and a challenge. So there's 3 different ways. I don't have them marked which one is which, but you'll be able to, if you share them all, they're convenience, compliment, and challenge. So 3 different ways that you can reach out to people. And she was, just as you guys know, that it's never a great way to, script this verbatim. Obviously, you always want to make it true to that challenger and from your own voice. Okay, so I'm going to share the next one with you guys. And okay, so you see that one? And one more. So those were, convenience, compliment, and challenge. Okay. All right. And I'm going to share this one. And this one was turn a success point into a success story. So we always want to have really stressing the Beachbody Challenge. Cast the vision of submitting their results. Be sharing the videos and the pictures of the people who have had transformation stories, and share similar success stories in your groups. That instills belief in them and their potential, and we empower them to make changes and connect to the group, connect them to beyond the group. So that means know these people, get to know them. So often, and I'm guilty of this, I form them, I get to know a lot about them, make the sale, put them in the group, and then, I don't know what happens. You don't have those one-on-ones anymore like you used to. But really, you make them a part of you, and you don't have that mentality. You have that mentality they're going to be with you until, for forever. Because hopefully you would have a great challenge group and just continue helping them through that journey. They become a coach, help to pay it forward to others. Then they're a coach on your team, and they're coming to Summit to you next year. So that's the goal. That's what you have is in your vision, in your head the whole entire time. And that's how it's going to help you and your customer. And just not to hide behind the screens. Do calls with them. Maybe you want to do, set a weekly Zoom calls with your challenge groups or one-on-ones. Maybe they could earn one-on-ones or something like that. That would be a really cool thing that you could do as well. And just really talk about, really talk about that Beachbody Challenge daily. I'm going to do a couple. This was a really cool quote that they had shared, and I liked this. Everybody wants loyalty, consistency, and somebody who won't quit, but everybody forgets that to get that person, you have to be that person. I thought that was pretty awesome. So we have to be, we get what we give, and to keep that in the forefront of our minds as we, you know, help our challengers. And the last thing, was to take action, be your best challenger. I don't have a thing on find your pain point. I can't remember that little point there, and overcome your fear. So that's really just about inviting, knowing that by inviting, you know, you're doing a disservice not to invite people. It's, you know, think of it that way. What if your coach had never invited you? What if you've never been invited to a challenge group in the first place? So really think of it as a disservice not to invite. Overcome that fear. And lastly, I think this is the one. Okay, you don't build a business, you build people. And then and then people build the business. So that was, you know, in summary, we're keeping the people in the forefront of all of this. The golden rule, treat others as you'd like to be treated. Be your best challenger. And, you know, if you be the best challenger, then, and report in every day, then you will get that in return from your challenge groups, and that will be, you know, the bread and butter. But I thought the biggest takeaway was how much you really pour into them. And it makes total sense, but to think that Allie, someone so busy as her, would, you know, do one-on-one calls with them and just really become family with them, I thought that was really, really moving and really inspiring to think that even them, that they do that. And that's probably why she's $1 million earner and probably has referrals coming through the, you know, busting down the doors, because she really truly helps people all the time. So if you guys have any questions, this is, I think they're on their YouTube already. So if you want to find this one, just type in Allie Upham and Chelsea Pearson, Coach Summit 2017, and you'll find it if you want to watch it in real time or recorded. Okay. Thanks, girls.
Thank you so much, Beth. That was an awesome recap. Completely great. I took away more nuggets this time. So, Lisa, did you want to go next?
Sure. All right. Well, I am going to cover, it was actually the first workshop that I sat in with Megan Ewaldson and Carrie Galt, and I know Beth and you are also in that group. Which was becoming a top recruiter. And a lot of the things that were covered in this are action items that I have for my team, especially as we're in this Team Cup month, and a lot of things as far as growing our team and building our team and just having that excitement coming off of and out of Summit is in thinking about who do we want at Summit 2017 sitting next to us, being in the crowds with us, being at the events with us, being in the workshops with us. And that was kind of something that was going through my head a lot when we were in Nashville, and who I want to bring with us as, you know, as a team as we head to New Orleans next year. So there were 3 steps that they covered. And the first step was upgrading customers to coaches. The second step was recruiting as a team. And the third was getting started right. And I'm not fancy like Beth. I don't have the slides because they're still on my phone, and somehow they didn't get automatically downloaded to my computer yet. So we're still working on that. But the first thing, as far as upgrading customer to coach, most of that, like Beth had covered, is really connecting during your challenge groups, helping them get results. So that was the main thing there, and then it was covered in the next section. So where they spent most of the time talking was in recruiting as a team. And Megan and Carrie, they have, I believe that they're success partners. They have the same upline, but they're on different legs. So it's not like what Megan is doing is benefiting Carrie. They care for each other. They're good friends. They're worked well together as a team. And so, you know, that was one of the takeaways. Work with someone on your team, work with somebody from another team, whoever is going to make you better and be able to partner with you. And they even run challenge groups together and the whole shebang. So recruiting as a team, the one that you might have seen, you might have been a part of, you might have, maybe that's why you signed up as a coach, was a backstage blitz, they called it, or a backstage pass. So a live event, and an event, a 1-hour event where they're making real connections. You're seeing the coaches that are involved in this team. We had just done one with Heather and some of the ladies here 2 weeks ago. I know my team has already scheduled one next week, because like I said, we're taking our notes and putting them into action. And I'm forcing everybody to do live Facebook videos, even instead of doing, yes. So instead of doing the posted scripted ones or using other coaches, which are great, go to those other coaches that you look up to, like Allie Upham and Megan Ewelton, and see what they're doing. And you look at them on YouTube and then put it to your own voice and share the real you, because you want to be attracting in these events people like you, people, like I said, people you want with you and people you want sitting with you at Summit next year. So for the backstage pass, they cover the vital behaviors, the comp plan, and how to earn. And just stop me if I'm talking too fast, because I know I don't have slides here. But okay, so vital behaviors, the comp plan, and how to earn. They do make introductions. Slow down. Okay, slow down. So one would be obviously introductions, who they are, the vital behaviors, the comp plan and how to earn, and pretty much it was like, that's it, the basics of a coach, the day in the life of a coach, how to get started, like what do they do next, how do they sign up, and that was it. So pretty basics, like the 4 vital behaviors. I mean, that is, in a nutshell, what we do as a coach. So a day in the life of coach, and the 4 vital behaviors, the comp plan, the basics around getting started. And then they do giveaway prizes at the end for anybody that stayed till the end, so the full hour, and for those that have participated and or, I guess, signed up as a coach. So they do a giveaway at the very end, so people stay committed to that 1-hour event. Any questions on that? So that was one thing that they do at recruiting as a team. The second thing they do, or at least Megan says she still does, is the sneak peek, a group. So instead of an event page, she puts people into a group, to a private Facebook group. And it's a 3-day Facebook group. But in this, she is also using Facebook Live, and her banner for this group page was scheduled times. It was Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday at 11 a.m. So the people knew up front when they needed to tune in to Facebook. It was 11 to 11:30, I guess, were the times, or 11, probably no more than 10, 15 minutes, I'm assuming, for each of her scheduled times. But that way, the same thing, like in the event, people can go back to and listen to later. If 11 a.m. didn't work for them, they could go back to this group, and it was another way for people to interact, and also other coaches on the team to also contribute. Other coaches on the team sharing their stories in a place that everybody could communicate. So the 3 things that were covered in her sneak peek group was, one was, what is a coach? That was day 1. Day 2 was how to grow a network on social media. And the day 3 was how to earn, so the comp plan, and then how to sign up. And so that was that on this for the sneak peek. And then the third way to recruit as a team was through a live webinar. And again, Megan and Carrie do this together. So they have, even though they're good friends, they do a lot of the same things. They are showing and sharing with people 2 different perspectives. So the same thing, in this webinar, they're more explaining kind of a deeper dive into what the coaching opportunity has done for them. Obviously, they both have a lot of success and can share a lot more of, what the coaching opportunity has done for them, probably earning potential and much more on that. But they said that also, I believe, I'm not sure in the timing if it was a half an hour or an hour for the webinar, but they put the recording on YouTube, and then it's also a way, something that their coaches on their teams can use, if they're sending, the what is coaching to potential coaches, customers, clients. So they have that to use as a resource and a tool for their team as well. So those were the three takeaways for recruiting as a team. And then step 3 for becoming a top recruiter is getting started right. And I know this is usually one of those things we've all probably failed at this somewhere along the line. We've started coaches off great, some not so good. And where is she? My new coach, Laura, there she is. She joined, and then I went off to Summit, so I barely talked to her, but she's on this call tonight, so I'm like, yay, Laura. So maybe she's already on like day 4 of the Ignite training without even me telling her where to go. But anyways, getting started right, obviously setting up a getting started right call or a Zoom, whether it's one-on-one or with a group if you have a lot of new coaches starting at the same time. So sometimes it might fluctuate. Sometimes it might be one thing one month and one thing the next. But either way, having a getting started right call or Zoom call or one-on-one face-to-face and setting expectations. They talked about a new coach checklist that they have. They didn't quite share with us what was included in that new coach checklist, but they also referred back to the Business Quick Start PDF that is in our back office. And on this getting started right call, so they go through the new coach checklist, the basics behind social media. They explain personal volume and Success Club and how to get Success Club points. They talk about inviting. That's number 3, inviting. 4 is the importance of Emerald. 5 is running challenge groups and how to go about getting customers ordered. So I know I've been sharing a lot with my new coaches, and that's been awesome. The app for the BB Links app, as well as the Coach Mobile app. For me, I find those two the easiest to use, because the website, as you know, when you're first getting started, is so confusing, and trying to have a new coach then tell someone how to get through their new website is just even worse. And then the 6th thing is the comp plan again and team cycle bonus. So they cover all that in the getting started right call. And I know I have one more thing on my notes here. Where did it go? Okay, so I know we've probably heard this before, and it might be how you got started as a coach. The I do, we do, you do. And I know for me, this definitely helped. But the I do is you start as a new coach and you participate, let's say, in a challenge group, and you're watching how your upline coach or your mentor, whomever you're doing this alongside with, and you're watching what they're doing. So that's the I do. Then the we do is, as the new coach and the leader collaborate in a challenge group. Maybe they co-host a challenge group together, and they say they do this as many times as that new coach needs. So if the new coach month after month needs to be a part of your challenge group to get them to where they feel comfortable to move on, then that's what they do. And then the you do is, once the new coach is confident and feel empowered and they're ready to leave, you send them on their way, they start their own team, and they duplicate everything that they've had just learned. So is that what I had for becoming a top recruiter.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lisa. This is great. You guys are so thorough with your recaps. Kristen, did you want to talk next about inviting with social media?
Sure.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Let's see.
Okay, so with social media, am I coming up big on your screen? Because mine's doing something weird. Yeah, okay, we're good. Okay, when we're inviting to social media, one of the first things that I noticed and made note of was they talked about mindset first. And I think that was really important because your mindset is going to come through no matter what you're doing. So first of all, you have to believe in what you are doing. You have to believe in yourself and believe in your products, which means being a product of the product. And that's going to come through. And then kind of the second part of that mindset is just having the fail forward mindset and not being afraid to post something when it might completely go wrong. So you just kind of have to keep moving. You can always delete it, right? So one of the biggest things that I kind of took away from it that I've actually already seen is the whole sharing versus selling thing. And I can try and share some of these slides, but I'm not going to lie, this may not work. Let me see if I can do this. Yay, I think it's working. Yes? Do we see a slide? Okay. All right. So sharing versus selling, we hear this all the time. And, you know, we kind of know this on one hand where we don't want to post all of these things where we're, you know, here's your sale, here's $140 on this month and all that. But on the other hand, it comes up in really interesting ways. For example, I posted a video of a workout this morning. I did a whole free P90X live workout, 30 minutes. I thought everybody would love it, and they did. There's some people who shared it and some people who said stuff about it. It got 126 views so far, 377 people reached. A video of me brushing my dog got 510 views and reached 1,200 people, okay? So be yourself, and that's going to sometimes work better. You know, I didn't think I was really hiding behind the product when I'm doing a P90X live workout for everybody. And, you know, that serves its purpose. But yet again, the whole dog brushing thing is apparently really popular. Who knows? Anyway, the next one here, following other coaches who inspire you. That's going to be really important. That's something that I am definitely going to be doing because I've been doing it kind of without thinking about it. And now that it's an intentional idea, you know, don't feel bad about stealing other people's ideas and making them your own. That's what we do. We share this business with other people on purpose. So you're not cheating by doing that. Not at all. And then that is really going to help you create the whole scroll stopping visuals. You know, what is stopping you when you're scrolling through your Facebook feed? And then noticing what apparently gets people's attention. I'm going to be posting a lot more videos of my dog, apparently. After that, the whole 80-20 rule, you know, most of your posts should be about you and not a product, not a sale. So, you know, if you're posting something about, you know, the new Country Heat, instead of posting a picture of the box or a picture of the DVDs, post a picture of you doing it. Y'all hear my dog drinking water in the background? She doesn't do this until I start. Anyway, so you're adding value with your post as well. You don't want to just post a picture of yourself drinking Shakeology and that's it, and yay, I love my Shakeology. You want to post a picture, you know, of yourself drinking your shake, and then in the script say something about what it does for you. You know, say, hey, it's helped balance my hormones, so I actually have regular cycles. Of course, that may be too much for social media, but still, you know. Things like that. You want to add value. You know, why should somebody even stop and spend 2 seconds looking at your picture? Okay. I'm going to try to share this next one. Maybe the right one here. Let's see. Okay. So there's some basic rules that we kind of know. One big one, though, and I'm always surprised at some new coaches who don't not really new coaches because you're new and you don't know, but at some coaches who've been coaching for a while and still have private Facebook pages or private Instagram feeds. If you need to start a separate one for to keep your pictures of your kids, your family private, I completely understand that. But you may want to start a separate account, or that's a perfect place to use your Facebook like page. But you need something that's public that people can find you, because we're trying to, once you exhaust your warm market, you've got to reach your cold market somehow. And then attracting, connecting, inviting, and recognizing, that's kind of the process. You're trying to attract people into you, and it may be that they're already attracted because they know you, or you attract them in another way from your cold market, which means then you really need to focus on the next step, which is connecting. And that means much more than just, cold messaging somebody that you barely know saying, hey, you want to be part of my challenge group? And they don't even know you. I think Chalene Johnson says, let me see if I can get this right, know, like, and trust. So first they have to know you, then they have to get to know you, and then they like you. And once they like you, you move them a little further, and then they trust you. And that's when they're going to be willing to take part in your challenge group and buy a challenge pack from you and trust what you say. So that connecting part's really important. Because the invitation's not really going to be effective unless you've connected first. And then we've kind of talked about this a little bit in having our customers, following through with our customers and having them be successful. We need to recognize our customers when they are successful, recognize them. When they start, hey, guess what? You just finished your first day. That's amazing. Because for some people, that's that first step that's super hard. So you really have to make sure they understand that you're placing your belief in them. Because, I know I was like this at one point too. You don't even believe in yourself. So having somebody else who believes in you is just incredible. And then it's new. Having somebody place some sort of belief and trust that you can finish this program, that's completely new. Then the breadcrumbs, this is kind of giving a shout out to Gary Vaynerchuk, who was amazing, in his book, Jab, 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 Right Hook. And, this is kind of in two different places, not only on social media, but when we're talking with people, I still have to stop myself from doing this. We word vomit, or, we product vomit. Oh, I have the perfect thing for you. Let me tell you all about it. And then we go on and on and on. And we get crickets back because they're just like, whoa, that's way too much information for me to process right now. But if you just kind of breadcrumb out information over time, like over several posts, sharing your story in little tidbits, that's going to be much more effective because people are going to have to tune back in to get the whole story. So if this is hard for you to figure out how to do, take one post that you would have posted and figure out how you can break it up into 3 or 4. So that's something that I'm trying to do a better job of myself, having small posts and short descriptions, and also posting with intention and posting with value, making sure that before I hit post on every social media thing that, I ask myself, what does this add to somebody's life? If it's just, one would think that a picture of or a video of me brushing my dog was not valuable whatsoever, but then I realized that a lot of people thought he was cute and it was funny and he obviously enjoyed it, and people like stress relief. So the value doesn't have to be some sort of grand educational higher knowledge thing. It can be simple, it can be funny, but you want it to add something to somebody's life, something that someone needs. And then, your post should also have a call to action. And this is where if you look at some successful coaches' posts, you'll see this. They almost always end with a comment if you think blah, 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 or tell me what you think about this, or press like if you whatever. So they're trying to get people to have action on that post. And it may be a time sensitive. I've got a free gift available, but you have to message me before 5 p.m. You want to make people take action. They have to have a reason to, so that's where that value comes in, but then they take action on it. And that's kind of twofold. Not only are you getting engagement with people and building the relationships, but it also increases your Facebook engagement, so your posts are going to show up more. So that's kind of a double good thing. Then private invitations, this one definitely called me out. I know I don't do enough of those because they're scary, and I'm going to get over myself, and I've been doing them for the past 2 days, and you know what? It's not that big of a deal. Now that I've done like 10 in the past 2 days, I'm over it. So if you need to just jump in with both feet, that little voice message button is great, because as soon as you take your finger off, you can't take it back. And it's just done. And yeah, so try that. Okay, I'm going to, I've got one more, but it was pretty simple because it was talking about attracting your tribe, and I'm not sure that I screenshotted it correctly. So I'll just talk through it. Anyway, attracting your tribe is one that I've been working on as well. And they had kind of a neat way, and I've heard this before, so it's a way to figure out who your tribe is, because your tribe is not just anybody. If you're trying to attract everyone, you're going to fail, because we can't make everyone happy. So you're just becoming kind of bland and vanilla. So you want to be spicy, right? And one of the ways to do that is to start out making a couple lists. You can list 5 to 7 things that are unique about you. And I've kind of got a few of these in my head, like I do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and there's a whole female community that does that. But at the same time, there's not many females who do that. So that's something that I post about, or try to post about at least a couple times a week. Then a list of 5 to 7 things that you love about coaching. Something that occurred to me is I'm using a lot of these leadership and business management skills actually in other areas of my life. For one, in my law practice as an attorney. And I realize that that may be attractive to somebody else who's looking for a way to learn about how to build a business without having to take MBA classes. So that's something that I'm going to start posting about, because it's going to attract people like me. So make a list of things that you like about coaching and start posting about those. But you have to make sure, to me, that's going to be kind of a weird line, because I want to make sure that I'm very careful that the posts are about me and not just about coaching in general. So yet again, kind of making that personal, because you have to own your journey. Your story is going to be unique, and you have to figure out what is unique about your story. And if you can't really figure it out, ask somebody close to you, what makes me different from these other coaches? Maybe you are so close that you can't see it yourself. And kind of the last part about attracting your tribe is really casting the vision of where your team is going. So, where are you going? What are you about? And also making a dream team list, and what sort of people am I looking to attract as customers and as coaches? And then, what are their attributes? And then you can go from there as far as who you are inviting and connecting with. Another really important thing about inviting on social media is just sending out blanket invitations. Not usually going to work very well. You need to be building relationships, asking questions about them, following up with them after you've asked questions, always asking another question. If you haven't listened to the National Wake Up Call yet, Carl talks a lot about this this week and kind of goes through a whole script where he actually suggests how you keep somebody asking questions. So that's actually a really good resource if you haven't listened to that yet. Something I thought was really neat, and it kind of, I'm not even sure if it was written this way on the slide, but I have in my notes, follow up a couple times and then go back to the friend zone, because that's what made sense to me. You know, you follow up a couple times, you don't want to keep annoying them because they're going to think, oh, that's a creepy salesperson. So once you follow up a couple times, back off. Just you leave it as an open invitation. I just did one of these today. Hey, you know, I know you were interested in this at one point in time. I just wanted you to know that this is an open invitation. Whenever you're ready, just let me know. But I'm being very active on her Facebook page. I'm commenting on her pictures. I'm actively in her life because she's one of my friends, number one, and then number two, because I want to keep that relationship open. So go back to the friend zone and you can follow up with them later. Building your network. I do have a slide for this, and I'm going to see if I can't get this one open. Yeah, okay. So building our network, I know I'm about 1.5 years into my coaching business, so I'm getting to the point where I'm having to build my network if I'm going to build my business. Continuing to get in front of new people. This is actually one of the main reasons that I got certified as a P90X Live instructor, because I'm hoping to use it to meet new people in my area. To get in front of people who are interested in fitness but may not know about Beachbody. So there's different ways to do that. You know, maybe your kids are in a certain play group, or, you know, you play a sport. I know here in Birmingham we have an adult kickball league, which I think it's more of a drinking league, but whatever. You know, get in front of new people. Find ways to meet new people, not just online. But obviously this is an online business, so add 2 to 3 friends on Facebook every single day. And it's super easy because you just go to the suggested friends, and if you've got a bunch of friends in common, then add them. If you don't have a bunch of friends in common, it might be creepy, so you may want to make sure who that is before you just click add. And then I always try and go back once they've added me as a friend. I always try and post on their page a couple times over the next couple days, even if it's just, you know, a cute picture of their dog or something, and I write, oh, he's so cute. Just anything, just to kind of get me on their radar. And I'm an Instagrammer, so this one was definitely important to me. I have not been following 5 to 10 new people each day, which seems like a lot, but I'm going to at least try and add a couple each day. Oh, and I made a note. This was not in the presentation, but I don't know if y'all have seen it. Instagram has a new feature. They're totally trying to take over Snapchat. I saw it today. They have this thing called Instagram Stories, and it's going to be, let me see if I can pull it up on my phone. It is like when you pull up Instagram, it's at the top. I don't even know if you're going to be able to see this. We're going to see. Can y'all see that at all? See that thing at the top? That's Instagram Stories. And it's basically Snapchat, which is crazy because, you know, they're trying to take it over. It doesn't have any of the fun face filter stuff yet, so it's kind of basic. But what I love about that, I've not really been active on Snapchat because people can't find you. So how am I supposed to meet new people on Snapchat? So that was never really kind of a big thing for me. Instagram, however, this gives you the function of having little videos where you can write things on them. So really kind of the same deal, except people can find you. And so now if they found my Instagram through one of my hashtags or something, they can look at my Instagram stories. So I think that's a huge game changer as far as Instagram. And I'm about to start blowing up my Instagram feed using that story stuff. I haven't even done one yet because it just came out today. So I think Instagram, if it's going to start doing that, it may suck that from Snapchat. especially if Snapchat doesn't kind of up its game. So following 5 to 10 new people on Instagram each day may actually be more important than I think it is. So also, they talked about using hashtags that attract your tribe. So kind of going back and thinking about those things that are unique to you and the things that you love about coaching. I recently did this because I realized a lot of my hashtags were like hashtag 21 day fix, hashtag eating color containers, and things that people who are already customers would be looking for. So you're trying to attract your tribe who don't know about Beachbody yet. So I have hashtag fit lawyer, hashtag police wife, things that are unique about me that are attracting people like me who don't know about Beachbody yet. So kind of figuring out your hashtags for Instagram, I think, is going to be pretty important if it's going to grow like it may. Also, finding a follow-up system. This is one that I have in my to-do list because I think one of the presenters mentioned that she had used just her Facebook Messenger as her follow-up system, looking back through your messages to see who you've messaged recently. And that's me. I'm guilty. So I've got to figure out a better way to do this. And she didn't really give a lot of examples. So that, whether you're using a business tracker out of the back office or a notebook, I'm a person who writes stuff down. I'm not a Excel spreadsheet person. Those things give me the heebie-jeebies. So I'll probably just keep using a notebook, but tracking it some way other than in the messaging app itself is probably a good idea. And then last, crafting a post. Let me see if I can share this one. If I can find it. Well, okay, maybe not. Anyway, crafting a post. You first start, if you're trying to make an Instagram post, say, about your challenge group coming up. What am I inviting to? Okay, I'm inviting people to my challenge group. When is it? You want to make sure it's out far enough that, hey, not show up tomorrow. You want it to have time to reach people. And then who am I reaching out to? I think that's the most important one that I've probably been ignoring a little bit, not just everybody. So who am I reaching out to? Apparently, I have a lot of dog moms in my network. So my next ad is going to be including my dog. And that is important because you're, again, attracting your tribe and creating visuals. If you scroll through your Facebook feed now, everything is a picture. Everything is a video. I'm using live video like crazy because I don't have to sit there and try and put text on anything. I just click live and go. And Facebook is promoting it for me. I think that's the biggest one. People want to watch things now. They don't just want to read it. I find this myself. I'm scrolling through and it seems like all I see is the pictures, and somebody will have just a text post and I'll almost miss it. So the main thing about the visuals, put you in a picture. Put yourself in the picture. I've even started doing this with my quotes now, especially after hearing this. Like I have an inspirational quote or a Bible verse from that morning or something that I want to share, and I will take a snapshot from my workout and, me doing a pull-up or something, and I will put the verse or the quote over that picture. So I'm actually in the picture because you want it to be yours and personal, which also means it makes it easier if you see somebody else with a great quote, you can snatch it and put it over a picture of yourself, and that's totally yours now. And then when to post, we kind of know this 3 to 5 times a day, but you need to identify when your market is on there. I know there's a tool for Instagram that does that. There's really tools for any social media that tells you, when are people looking at your posts most. And then going back, thinking about your tribe, who are you attracting, who are you, when are you on? for me, I work a full-time job, so I post early in the morning. I may post like right before I get to work. I'll post at noon because people are on their lunch breaks. And, I won't really post in the afternoon sometimes. If your market is moms that may be, or parents that may be picking up kids from school, that may be a great time to post for you because they're waiting in the carpool line and they have their phone. That's not my market, at least not yet. So I wait until right after work, and then I post again in the evening. Sometimes I post like 5 times, sometimes it's 2 or 3. So, if you don't want to force anything, if you don't have a post. I know some people, and I think they talked a little bit about this, some people have kind of a posting schedule where they do certain things at certain times of the day. I know I usually try and post some sort of Bible verse or quote or something in the morning, and people kind of come to expect that from me. So if you have something like that, that's usually pretty good. And then, at least 2 or 3 of those posts should be very, very personal, about you, making it about you and not any sort of product. And maybe one of them throughout the day is about your next challenge group or your next free coaching group or whatever. So that is, I think, about it. I'm going through the slides. Let's see. Yeah. So, there's also, we've gone through some of the opportunities that you can invite people to, but remember, you're not just always having to invite people to your challenge groups. Get creative with it. I came up with the idea of, I get up every morning, I kind of do a miracle morning sort of thing. I don't know if y'all are familiar with that. But it's where you have a morning routine, and some people have mentioned some things to me about it. So I've kind of created like a little morning routine event thing, and I've got a few people in it. So, and they're not being super active, but I can tell that they're watching my Facebook Live videos because I can see the views. So that's another good thing about those Facebook Live videos. You can tell how many lurkers you have who are actually watching but not interacting. So, not everybody may be interested in a clean eating group. They may already know how to do that. Or, they may not want to be active like that right away. So you kind of can baby step people in. You can have free groups, or, some people want to buy in, but they don't want to buy in the whole way. So 7-day Shakeology groups using the sample pack. And then you have your 3-day refresh and things like that for people who are looking kind of for a quick fix. So, you've got all these different things that you're inviting people to, and you really have to tailor your invites for that. And I think that was about it. That was my last slide there. So, yeah, there we go. Anybody have any questions? I was messing with slides, so I wasn't looking at chats or anything. Looks like we're good. Okay.
Oh, thank you, Kristen. Thank you. That was awesome. So, yeah, we can always type up our notes too and put them in the group, and then people can, the ones that were at Summit can take notes. I was also going to check to see if Meredith was still on, if she was going to share what it was like to be a first timer at Summit. Is she still on?
I'm still here. Yep.
Okay, great. Take it away. How was your first year?
Incredible. And like Beth, I also have a raging head cold, chest cold thing. But that didn't stop me from getting my workout in today. Ladies, you better make sure you get it in. So actually, I want to just say a couple takeaways from what the other lady said. Firstly, my little talk here is way more big picture. And I learned a lot from you guys. So thank you for that. And to Lisa's new coach, Laura, if she's still on, this is totally for you because I'm assuming you didn't go to Summit. And it is 100% worth going to. So I really highly recommend you get a ticket right now because I didn't get one until I was on some enormous wait list and I sweated it out thinking I'm not going to get there. So buy your ticket now. Don't make the same mistake. And I'm also going to give a little I guess, secret that I think helped to make me a more interesting coach. Beth, this is all Beth, so if she's still on, this is her. Beth could not have her husband come with her on the Success Club cruise. So it was probably the best thing for me that she didn't know this, but when she sent out this invite randomly to her team about, honestly, I think it was like 2 weeks before the Success Cruise, people needed to know if they were going to transfer your guest to someone else. She sent out a message to her team and said, oops, my husband can't go. Whoever works their butts off for the next 10 days, I'm going to look at what you've done. And if you are willing to pay for your flight, you're in on the Success Club cruise. And if you know Kate Noble, she did the same thing with Sindel, I think. I'm pretty sure that's how they worked that out. And honestly, leading up to Summit, that was the very best thing that Beth could have ever done for me. Not only was it an awesome cruise, but I got to meet so many of you ladies like Lisa and Sindel and Kate and Jeff. Hello, Jeff too. And that, first of all, was huge for me because I already knew so many of you, and I felt like I've been following you on Facebook and watching your talks on these calls and whatnot, and it really felt like I already knew you. And of course, I was an Emerald, I think, by the time I was at Success Cruise, and every single one of you kept saying, oh yeah, you'll be Diamond by Summit. Absolutely not a problem. And I was thinking, these girls are absolutely nuts. And sure enough, I don't really know how it happened, but I did it. I am probably the lowest ranking Diamond there ever has been in the history of Diamond coaches. but that leads me to my big picture sort of takeaways from Summit. Number one, the enthusiasm from 20 or 25,000 coaches that were there, that's insanity. I can't believe when you actually know they're going to be there, that's one thing, but when you see it in the crowds, another thing. So it's incredibly motivating to know that every single one of those people want to build this business, and they want to get fit and they want to be healthy and they want to change their lives. So that's the first very motivating aspect of Summit. And if it were just that to me is a reason to go. Then sort of the major takeaways for me in a big picture scenario from all the different sessions I went to, including Carl and including Shalene and all of those people, Gary, were two buzzwords I kept hearing, which are patience and consistency. And actually on the Firestarters video that I'm going to post tomorrow, I talk a lot about that too. Patience and consistency. I think personally, I got the consistency part down, at least with the working out. I'm good at that. And consistency in my business, inviting, not so much. So I need to work on that. But the patience was also really nice to hear. But what was really encouraging is that a lot of the speakers that I saw I can't remember all of their names, but some of the coaches that were up there had said last year they were Emerald coaches sitting way in the back, taking notes and like thinking, I don't know what the heck's going on. And then they were up on stage, and that is pretty amazing stuff. So it does remind you that it is possible. So again, a really huge takeaway for going to Summit. And then a little bit more specifically for me in my situation, I work a full-time job too. It's definitely my first love. I like working with my husband, being a consultant. And so this is sort of a side business, but it's clear that you can make it work if you follow those, all the consistent efforts, the inviting. And one of the things that Carl said, I think in his first speech, was about Diamond coaches. And of course I was listening. And he said, you diamonds out there, you achieve Diamond and you pat yourself on the back and you say, I've done it. I've achieved what I meant to achieve. And then you stop. And I have to admit, that's me. I kind of stopped doing everything because I thought, great, now it's just going to work itself out. It's a trickle down scenario, but it doesn't work that way. So that was kind of a kick in the butt that I needed to get going again. And then one of the posts, I believe, in that silver track, I think Sherry was in this session, so you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they used a statistic that said 17% of diamond coaches go on to become team leaders. So that's not a very high number, obviously. And team leader, I know that there's a whole listing of what becomes what you are to be a team leader. And I'm definitely not there. I might have been a team builder once or twice in the last couple of months, but reading through those criteria, that also is a huge kick in the butt, realizing that if you want to move forward, you can't just stop once you hit diamond. That's it. I'm also a bit of an accountant myself, so I did all my finances so far from Summit. I plugged all my expenses in. And hey, I'm just keeping it real here, ladies. I'm at a loss, not a big loss, but a loss. And I kept telling myself, oh, I'm paying for my product, no big deal. But I'm a diamond and I'm at a loss. So if I want this to continue, I got to work. I know this isn't like a happy, positive statement I'm saying right now, but that's just the reality of it. And I really appreciated it when Carl said in one of his last speeches that you need to take care of your finances. You can't just go out, quit your job, and pretend that this is going to make you $1 million in 6 months. You have to work towards it, and you have to be smart and conservative. And I'm extremely conservative with my money and how I spend it. So it was really nice to hear a CEO not encouraging everyone just to go blow off their day jobs and do this full time until they knew they could do it. So that made me have a lot more confidence in Carl. So the other sort of or the last sort of thing I want to say, no, actually I have one more thing. I always gripe about the Coach Online office and how it is just incredibly bad. I actually had a coach quit. She works at Microsoft, very high up in HR, because she said, and I quote, "I can't trust a company that's website is this confusing and bad." And I couldn't stop her from doing that. It makes sense. It's just confusing for new people who don't know where to click and point as a coach to get going. There was probably a little bit of lack of enthusiasm on her part too. But I have to agree that I cannot wait until that mobile coach office comes out, and I'll be the first one to download it for sure. And then the very last sort of big picture takeaway from me, there were times during Summit where I was super amped. I was way up here, completely supercharged, ready to go, excited. If I could have started inviting right away, I would have. And then there were some sessions that were a little bit more fluff in my book, and it kind of brings you down a little bit, not down, but you're just not as excited. And then for me, it was interesting because at the end of it, I found myself at the end of the day being somewhere in the middle. And I think that's why I've stopped working my business, is because I'm somewhere in the middle. And I have to remember that those things that amped me up, I have to keep reading those notes from my book. They're all scribbled down, and amp myself back up and realize that I can do this. Anyone can do this. And, that Summit, Success Club trips, Super Saturdays, getting together with your coaches, calls like this is really helpful. And I have a hard time getting my coaches online to even see my face. But I know once they do it, they're a lot more amped. And I want that for your coaches. I want that for my coaches. So I don't know, kick your husbands off the Success Cruise trip, get your best coach on there. I'm telling you, that's the way to do it, guys. Sorry, Jeff.
That's awesome, Meredith. And I am so happy to have met you for the first time at Summit too.
Me too.
Awesome. I loved it. What else was I going to say? Make sure that you do get to these Super Saturdays. We have a Super Saturday this Saturday. So if you are in Fargo, check the back online office. I think it's under events and it's under Super Saturday. There's an interactive map and you can look to see where the Super Saturday is near your area. I did post the interactive map in the thread in the group, but I don't know if that got pushed down. So make sure you get to Super Saturday. It is important, especially if you didn't get to Summit. So make sure you hit up the Super Saturday. it's important to get surrounded by like-minded people. So especially if you want to grow the business. Another thing, and I wanted to say, if anybody has any questions, unmute yourself and ask questions to anybody that talked tonight. But I also want to, Sherry and I were talking about whether we should do a part 2 next week. I don't know if anybody else that did some of the workshops would like to talk about another topic. So we can talk about that in the thread as well. If anybody wants to do that, we can do that next Tuesday night if it's what people want. So I just want to get a feel for what people want. So if you do, let's talk about who wants to talk and on what topic. So
yeah, Kimberly, I think we actually should, because you guys were all on one track, Hall C, that you spoke tonight. And there was a few of us that were on a different track D, and we actually spoke about different things. So I actually got a lot of notes from you guys tonight, and I realized a lot of this stuff was not covered in my track. And so, well, I shouldn't say my track, but the opposite, the other track. Like I know we had a bunch of people on the other track, even Rachel, Rachel was with me. I know it was me and Meredith, you were there on that track. And then I'm sorry, I can't remember your other coach that was with you.
Holly?
Holly and Becky and Andrea from Beth's track, or Beth's coaches as well.
Yeah, so I noticed that we had, and I don't know if you feel the same way, Meredith, but the stuff that they talked about tonight, I was like, we didn't really go over that stuff. So I think that there should be a part 2 with some of those coaches, because we did hit on a lot of other stuff, just so you know.
Okay. Well,
that is if everyone's willing to speak. I know I am, but if the other coaches are willing, I think that would be great for the team as well.
Okay. Well, we can reach out to them too and see if they want to talk about what stuck out to them too. Okay. Am I alone here? Does anybody else have any questions? We could wrap it up, or yes? No? Okay. Well, thank you so much, you guys, for getting on, and I hope you've gotten all these nuggets. Rewatch, pass on to your teams, tag your teams in it. I will upload it to the a YouTube channel and post it in the group too. So I hope you guys have a great night. Bye.
Bye.